mic's not on. That's always a great start. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. It would have helped. I'm using my new Stream Deck, and I completely forgot that there is a mic on button that you need to press. Good evening, good afternoon, good day to you all. I was just saying, as you could see me lip sync it is a massive day in the Scottish Premiership, and we're probably going to say that quite a lot this season. You know, we're probably going to say that every week from here on out till May. And it's going to get cliche. It's going to get, it's going to get probably frustrating hearing me say the same things all the day, but it's all the time. But it's as simple as this: from here until May, it's a cup final every single week from here until the end of the season. And today, more than others, it feels like a massive day in the Scottish Premiership, because we've got Celtic taking on Kilmarnock this afternoon, where we need to do our part. Let's call it how it is for a moment. We need to play our part today. We can't drop points. And Rugby Park isn't an easy place to go. Plastic surface, Neil McCann in charge. He'll probably have his team right up for this today. It's not an easy place to go. But there's another game this afternoon at 4:30 that could change the whole landscape after our game. So there's so much that can happen. It's a huge day. Join me as we go through the starting 11s. We'll do the Q&A, of course, as later on in the stream, and we'll be here for the next half hour or so as we preview the games. Thank you for filling up the chat so far, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to have you all in. My God almighty. Do you know, it's crazy because I've now done this coming up 10 years. I think this is actually my 10th season doing this on YouTube, right? And it's maybe my 4th or something, doing it as a kind of full-time job, my full-time shtick. And I've never had this. I've never had a situation where Celtic go into match day 26-27 and there's a 3-team race. Not 2 teams, a 3-team race, where the teams can do damage to one another, and it's crazy. I mean, some of us are just not equipped for it. I mean, the last time I remember a proper serious title challenge, and I know we had these couple of years in recent memory where we had, Philippe Clement's Rangers come on to do something, and of course there was the COVID year and stuff like that. But this is uncharted territory for a lot of us today, and especially for a generation younger than me. I'm 26 next month, right? I just about caught the last of the competitive nature that existed in Scottish football, the kind of 2008, 2009, through to the liquidation of Rangers. I kind of caught that. I was there. But anybody who's, 20 years of age probably missed all of that. Anybody younger than 20 probably missed all of those years. Maybe even younger than like 21, 22. So, we're third in a 3-horse race right now. By the time we finish your game today, we could leapfrog Rangers, and depending on what happens at Tynecastle, God knows what the landscape of the Scottish Premiership will look like today. But the advantage is that we have a game in hand, that momentum is with us after Wednesday night, and we need to build on that today at Rugby Park. It will not be easy, but we will certainly try our best. Thank you to Mackenzie for the unwavering channel loyalty, being with us for the last 14 months, saying, for fuck's sake, I'm ill and have to watch Rio play. He might actually put me in my grave. I'm seeing a lot of disappointment over the Rio Hatate starting. But let's go over the lineup, shall we? Let me flick over and let's start with our team. Let's start with Celtic. The lineup is on screen. By the way, new fancy graphics are here, everybody. I hope you enjoy them. There is a price to pay. We'll get to that halfway through the stream. But I hope you enjoy all the new graphics and stuff like that. Thank you to Malensky, by the way, for becoming a channel member. I appreciate it. It's not let me bring it up on screen, but thank you to Malensky. It's very much appreciated. Let me go through it very quickly. Celtic setting up in the same system as we always expect. A couple of changes from the game on Wednesday, of course. Arne Engels is out. We are still waiting on an exact confirmation of how long that might be. To my knowledge, there wasn't a pre-match press conference, so we didn't hear there. We might hear after the game today. But starting goals, of course, Kasper Schmeichel, as you would expect. The back four, surprisingly, Kieran Tierney comes back in, and I'm don't say that because Kieran Tierney's not deserved to be starting. He's been magic recently. Kieran Tierney has turned a corner, I would say, and he's been fantastic in recent times. After what was a kind of slow start, trying to get back up to speed, I really thought Sriracha would have started today, and I thought we would have given Tierney A, the rest from the plastic surface, and B, just a rest ahead of that big game on Thursday. So. Sorry, the game's at Ibrox. I keep saying Tynecastle, and I know fine well the game's at Ibrox. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's because it's on the telly. Because it's on the telly, I've got it in my head that it's at Tynecastle because they would never televise the fucking Ibrox games. Anyway, back four, Araujo, Trusty, Scales and Tierney. Midfield three, it is Hatate who comes in, which a lot of people might be surprised with. I'm not so surprised at that. And I think I touched on this on the Celtic the Thunder this week. I said this to a few of my mates. There was no chance Oxlade-Chamberlain was starting today, even if we all wanted it. There was just no chance. I didn't see Oxlade-Chamberlain getting a start. And I get it, we're all gutted it's not Oxlade-Chamberlain. We've got him as a weapon to come on later in the game, and that's nice. You know, that's good, and I'm fine with that. Rio Hatate, though, his chances are withering away in front of our eyes, at least with the Celtic supporters. I think that I don't know many Celtic fans who have any patience left with Rio Hatate. He needs a big game today. And I said this on Thursday, for all the criticisms that I'll pass on towards Rio Hatate in a minute, and as far as critical as I've been about Rio Hatate, he still has a part to play between now and the end of the season. And he could rewrite the narrative. He could change the outlook on what is Rio Hatate right now. I love Rio Hatate. Deep down, I do. Of course I do. Because he's came into Celtic, he's been a great servant, he's been here for as much as he has. He's just recently been very, very poor. He comes into the team today, we need a big performance from him. We need us to remind us who Rio Hatate really is. Not the Rio Hatate that came on the park and gave away a penalty on Wednesday night. Not the Rio Hatate that done nothing when he came on the park against Dundee. Not the Rio Hatate that got sent off in Bologna. We need Rio Hatate back this afternoon. He comes in, and in the front three, there is a change. Yang is back, and I think this is the correct front three. Well, I say correct front three. I think the striker position could have been up for debate. I don't think there was really a big debate to be had there. I think it could have been one or the other. Yang, Maeda and Adamu are the starting front three. Yang deserves to come back in. Tenekte, yeah, good the last couple of games in terms of his return. Generally speaking, on Wednesday, wasn't that great. He didn't do much until he obviously played the wee assist at the end. But he had a quiet sort of game. I think that Yang coming back in for him is perfectly natural and should be the case. Maeda back over at his natural position on the left-hand side. And it could have been any of the two up front today for Celtic. They've gone with Junior Adamu. They've went with him up front. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do from the off. You know, Thomas Chvanchara, I like him so far. Similar to Tenekte on Wednesday. Didn't stand out. Wasn't amazing. In fact, he missed a sitter. But he wasn't bad either. So Junior Adamu is somebody who came on, scored that vital winner against Dundee in the Cup. Probably deserving of a start, bringing him in. Yeah, let's see what he can do. If you are wondering what the bench is for Celtic this afternoon, let me run through it very quickly. Sinsalo, Chvanchara, Luke McCowan, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Tenekte, Sirachi, Murray, Forrest, Donovan. So there's still a few noticeable omissions. For example, Balak-Oisha has just been vanished. Tony Ralston seems to be banished as well at this point in time. That's the bench. Oxlade-Chamberlain is on there. Tenekte is on there. Chvanchara's on there. Marcelo Sirachi. They're four of the key ones for me. If you're making 5 subs today, unforced, those are the 4 first ones that come on for me. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Tenekte, Sirachi and Chvanchara. The 5th one, you'll probably end up seeing James Forrest getting on the park. So that is the Celtic team for this afternoon's game. Kickoff is 50 minutes away. It's a huge afternoon for Celtic. Thank you to Celtic Champions for being a member for 5 months. 5 months of channel loyalty. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Saying we'll win 3-0 today. Rangers will get a draw and Chamberlain will score from coming off the bench. Hail, hail, sack the board, and in St. Martin we trust. Very, very nice comment. I like all of it. I admire the optimism. I mean, in terms of score predictions today, once again, I think we're going to have to get used to this close nature. I don't see Celtic winning 3-0 this afternoon, as much as I want to agree with your point and agree with your comment. I just don't see it happening this afternoon. I think we need to get used to the close nature of these games. We're going to have to, Neil McCann is going to send this team out today to play some brutal stuff. They're going to be hammer throwers. They're probably going to kick us up and down the park. Let me reiterate a point that I brought up on the Celtic the Thunder on Thursday. They have the 3rd worst discipline record in the league with the joint most red cards. They love a red card. They love it. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got sent off today, which could help us. But it's going to be a tough one to watch, I think, especially on the surface. I mean, we struggled here against Auchinleck Talbot mere weeks ago. So I want to see a confident Celtic side. We need to start using these, these last minute winners have to give us some encouragement. Somehow. I know we haven't been great over the course of the 90, but they've got to give us some encouragement and some momentum to build off. I want a statement performance. And the fact is, right, I said on Wednesday that Livingston was the last easy game, and I stand by that. It was. From here on out, I don't think there's any easy games left. But you could say that this is maybe you could maybe extend it to Kilmarnock, who've been poor over the course of the season. Yeah, been good at home the last couple of games. You could maybe extend it to going, right, this is the last one where we can really make an example of somebody. We've done it at Rugby Park in the past. Like, it's not impossible. But it's going to be a brutal afternoon, I think, as well. Kian, thank you for the channel membership, mate, saying, hope Martin gives us some boy maxing tonight. Well, let's hope there's no ref maxing, because they've been fucking brutal the last few days. Hello to Quinny, how you doing, mate? He says, pure minute management for the three primary wingers. Mavuka left at home again. Yeah, do you know what? Great that you've pointed it out. Once again, Joel Mavuka does not make the Celtic squad. And I said this my pre-match stream on Wednesday, right? I don't want to read into it too much, because I think that, you know, there's a chance that he's just victim of a long squad list and it's hard to get him in. But I am starting to think that they have realised the quality of the player that they've brought in here, and they're just going, yeah, I'd rather, because realistically, right, let's be real about this. Any new right winger who came in, and I'm not talking political, any new right winger that came into the club in January really should be in the squad ahead of James Forrest. I don't say that controversially or disrespectfully to James Forrest, but they should be. We should have been signing a right winger who not only became Celtic's automatic right winger, but automatically became the second best to Yang. And the fact that Forrest is on the bench ahead of Mavuka, I don't want to read into things too much. I think there's a reason for that. And I'm not surprised, because we'd done the deadline day streams, we'd done the Celtic transfer talks. I told you that Mavuka looked like a bit of a dud from the outside. And the fact he's been hooked at half-time of his first game and not on the bench in the two games following, I think maybe speaks a lot. It's looking like he's not Celtic quality, and I think I told you that, and anybody with half a brain could have told you that when we were in that situation. So Celtic didn't improve the right wing area in the winter transfer window. So thank you to Steve Knievel, by the way, for joining up and becoming a channel member. I appreciate it, brother. Welcome to the club. Thank you. Thank you to Callum as well for the 199 donation, saying, I'll take a scrappy 1-0 as long as we can get 3 points. Yeah, look, I'll come on to the Q&A in a moment. I'm going to switch over to the Q&A. I'll go through the Kilmarnock team very quickly as well. But I said that Celtic can't go through the rest of the season with relying on 90th minute winners and scrappy wins. It's starting to appear like we might need to. And honestly, if it means getting 3 points today, I mean, look at the league table on screen right now. We could leapfrog Rangers simply by winning 1-0 today. I'm not going to complain if that's the case. Will I be critical? Of course I'll be critical, but I'm not going to complain. Thank you to Rain for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate that, mate. Saying excited to see what Adamu can do. Hatate in the starting 11 is baffling. No Mavuka in the squad speaks volumes. Never wrote off a signing so quick. Yeah, I kind of agree with that last point. In terms of Hatate being in the starting 11, look, I've been as critical as anybody with Hatate recently. I'm just not shocked. Who else was it going to be? I don't think it was going to be Oxlade-Chamberlain, so I'm not surprised at it. As I said, big afternoon for him. And thank you to Tom as well for the donation, saying, time for the post-match reaction, roughly for when I order the Pepes. It will be up as soon as I can after. Look, the game, half an hour after the game finishes is what I aim for, Tom. So keep an eye out around then. Get the Pepes in. I love seeing those comments. Pepes in the rhyme 118. Right, let's have a look at the Kilmarnock team before I flick it over fully to the Q&A section, shall I? Here is the Kilmarnock starting 11 this afternoon. They've been setting up in a kind of 4-3-1-2 shape under Neil McCann, which obviously doesn't have any natural wingers, but they do get people out there, of course you need to. That's got a team looking like this. Kellerus and goals, a back four of Schoening, Larsson, Brown, Dees and Thompson. Midfield made up of Lyons, Watson, Kiltie and Curtis. And up front, the top two for Kilmarnock this afternoon, it seems to be Tyrese John-Jules and Joe Huggle. So, or Huggle? Is it Huggle or Huggle? I don't know. I played for Manchester United, I should know this. But yeah, that's the Kelly team this afternoon. As I said, they're going to probably get tore into us today. A wee red card or so would probably help us. Whether we get that red card or not, we'll wait and see. But they have got that ill discipline around them. And Neil McCann, he's an angry wee man, isn't he? He's an angry wee fella. So let's see if he does the Derek McInnes and blame Mark Fotheringham for celebrations and stuff like that. Anyway, right. On that note, you will notice there has been a change to the live streams. And this moving forward, I aim to up the standards and quality, and this is all part of it. Thank you to the guys over at Stream Builder who reached out and helped us do this. This has helped being. So basically, I just want to make one thing clear. And I know what you're all going to do. Oh no! Adverts, mere adverts. Look, listen, helping the local business as well I can as well. But to have all of this set up, it does cost money that I wouldn't be able to fund myself through just my wages. It's quite an expensive piece of equipment to get it all done and sorted properly. So reached out, got some sponsors sorted for the channel, and they will now sponsor the Q&A segments of the live stream. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in roughly a minute's time, and we can do the Q&A, we can sit down, we can have a chat. So get your questions prepared. I'll be back as quickly as possible, right? Don't worry about it too much. We've got over 1,000 live viewers. I hope to all see you here when I'm back. I'll see you in a moment's time. Today's live stream is brought to you by Cairns Heating Solutions. With the days getting a wee bit longer, it doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet with this chilly weather. And you know what that means. It's time to get your heating sorted. Cairns Heating Solutions is a local company based in Coatbridge, serving Lanarkshire and the surrounding areas. And they're hooking you up with a deal you just can't miss. They're offering a Worcester boiler supplied and fitted for just £2,500 with no hidden fees. But wait, there's more. For just £60, they'll carry out a boiler health check to make sure your home is safe and toasty all season long. Don't get caught in the cold. Give Cairns Heating Solutions a shout and keep those chills away. From boilers to radiators, CHS has you covered. Contact them at cairnsheatingsolutions.com or give them a call on 01236 338 448 for your free survey. And we are delighted to be supported by fellow professional within our community, Craig M. Bush, Independent Financial Advisor. While we focus on the 90 minutes on the pitch, Craig focuses on the next 30 years of your life. From independent pension advice to strategic wealth planning, he's here to ensure your financial legacy is as strong as our club's history. You can grab a free initial consultation with Craig today to see how he can help you keep more of what you earn. Check out the details below. Your capital is at risk. The value of investments can go down as well as up, and you may get back less than you invested. Tax treatment depends on individual circumstances and may be subject to change in the future. Craig M. Bush is an independent financial advisor with Money Advice and Planning Limited. Right then, thank you to the channel sponsors who are making this possible. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So if you're looking for any of the services provided, you know what to do. Go down to the description below. The links for their Facebook pages and such will be there. Get your questions in. Let's do the Q&A. And as one of the comments said, and it was a fantastic comment from Keane, I haven't sold out. I've simply bought into the evolution of Ryan 118. Right, get your questions in. A huge conversation today, obviously, about Rio Hatate. Rio Hatate being one of the biggest ones. So you can bring that up if you like. You can bring up Rio Hatate. We can talk about that to death, you know. But let's get your points in surrounding anything today's game. I'll try and get as many of them done as possible because, my goodness, it's going to be a hard few weeks. And do you know what? We've not even spoke about this game tonight. What are we all hoping for from Hearts and Rangers? I mean, personally, I think a draw is the best result. I know a lot of people will be saying, oh, Hearts. Well, I want Hearts to win. You know, Rangers are a bigger threat and all that jazz. But at what point do we have to sit here and go, hey, look at the league table. Look where Hearts are sitting right now. Look what they're doing. You know, it's... My God, we can't just keep hoping that they'll drop points because they seem to be scraping by. And if Celtic are scraping by... If we keep saying that Celtic are scraping by and that's okay, blah, blah, as long as we win, you know, we need to extend that to Hearts. I mean, they are 6 points clear. Yes, we have a game in hand. I don't think a Hearts win would be the worst result. But I think that a draw today would be fantastic, I think. And that's what I'll be hoping for. I'm hoping for a draw today, to be quite honest. But we'll wait and see. We'll come to Ryan here, who brings up the point about Iheanacho not being in the squad again today. And he says that it wouldn't be surprised if his contract is cut short and he leaves before the end of the season. I don't think so. My opinion to that is understandable. I get it. I don't think we'll see him featured much at all between now and the end of the season. But it would be incredibly short-sighted for Celtic to do that in the case of, you know, one of these other strikers gets hurt. I think it's... Unless he wants to go. That maybe changes it. But I don't think he's going to have a lot of suitors out there for him anyway. But Iheanacho is left out again. And that's that, I suppose. But I'm not surprised by it. Like, I'm not surprised by it at all. I think that was always... I mean, he was brought in as a panic and an emergency. Brendan Rodgers phoned his pal when the transfer window was shutting because the board sold him down the river and didn't get him a striker, and Iheanacho was the easiest route to go down. So, I wouldn't be. I don't think they'll cut his contract short between the end of the season, but thank you to Hunter as well, saying, Ryan, what's your thoughts on the new centre back, and do you think he's got a chance at being in the team? Nah, not really. If Trusty and Scale stay fit, I don't think Benjamin Arthur has a lot of time to play. As I said, the easy games are gone. We don't have any of them left now. I would be shocked if we see Benjamin Arthur feature an awful lot. I suspect we'll see him at least once between now and the end of the season, but it's just a question of where. Like, where do you fit him in? Because you can't play him against Stuttgart in either leg. You can't play him in the derbies. What game, realistically, feasibly, do you put him in? He's been brought in as a security blanket. Not a very good security blanket, if you ask me, my perfectly honest opinion. But I don't know when we'll see him. Thank you to Quinny, has always been here. It's always good to have you in, Quinny. You're a good man. Said, if Rangers can't beat them, then I don't think they'll lose enough games elsewhere to be caught. Yeah, look, I think the narratives today are going to be... It's so hard to do it from a prediction point of view. I think we are just going to have to wait for the games to be settled, and then we can maybe go, right, here's the lay of the land, here's the favourites, this is the set. But even at that, this is my honest opinion. I don't think any of the three sides are particularly great. Whoever wins the league this year is ultimately going to go to... It'll be a memorable season, it'll be fun, and if we win it, oh my God, I'll cherish it, I'll love it. But it will easily go down as like the worst Celtic side I've seen win a league title, if we do it. And I think I would say the same for like Rangers or Hearts winning the league as well. I think it would go down as one of the worst sides. Hearts at a point would have, but they won't care. It doesn't matter. Hearts will be like Leicester, won't they? Like, it'll be like a story. It doesn't matter how good they were. All they care about is winning it. And fair enough. But I'm just meaning if you're talking from a total footballing perspective, the way that they've tailed off in the last few weeks, they've kind of struggled by. Rangers, I think, are still... Rangers are definitely coming on. They're better. I think they're coached a lot better under Danny Rowe. There's no denying that. But they're still far from the finished article. They're I think, just kind of in the early stages of their rebuild, you could say, of their new kind of story under this 49ers ownership and Danny Rowe management. I think it will just be a very weird title-winning team this year. Whoever does go on to win it will always be remembered as one of the kind of poorer sides. Like, they would lose to many other of a Celtic side, you know. Nathan, hello mate, says, without Engels, Hatate is second in line penalty taker. Could you imagine he misses the penalty the day Twitter would explode? No wonder. No wonder it would explode. But it's true, like, that's the last thing we need. I don't think, I'm always like an advocate for trying to protect the best interests of players in football. I would not be sending Rio Hatate up to the spot under any circumstances today. Second in line or not, I would be sending anybody else up ahead of him. Just because that's the last thing he needs for his confidence. I think you've got to protect the best interests of a player. And it's not in his best interest to be standing up and taking a penalty today, no matter how confident he felt. Because if he missed it, it would be crushing. And like, that would be it for Rio Hatate. I don't think there would be any way back in the eyes of many supporters. Like, I can be forgiven. Like, if you kick on, I'll forgive you. But I think there's a lot of Celtic fans who aren't as forgiven. And, you know, that makes it very... I don't think they'll send them up. Let's put it that way. If we even get a penalty, that is. Celtic nearly spent $3 million on the new right winger. We didn't spend any. Nearly spent. Yep, my bad. Sorry, Casamilk boy. Martin O'Neill said he picked the new loan sign. O'Neill has been out of football way too long. The same boring 4-3-3, pass the ball backwards. Ooh, Martin O'Neill's getting it tight in a comment there. I wasn't expecting that. Do you think it's still a lottery? By the way, love the cat again. Love it, Gus. Absolutely love it. Do you think it's still a lottery who wins the title? Yeah, look, I think even by match day 33, we still won't know. Going into those split games, I think today will play a big part. Of course it will. Naturally, it's a seismic day. But I don't think it's going to necessarily determine who's going to go and win the league. It's still very much a lottery this afternoon, I think, for everybody involved. So we'll wait and see. God, chat is flying, by the way. We've got over 1,300 live viewers as things stand. I appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. God almighty, where do I even go next? David Watson, keep an eye on. Should be signing him. Look, I think a lot of people will say should sign him. A lot of people maybe not as sold on him. He's in a situation where his contract's up at the end of the season. We know Celtic registered a form of interest in him. Let's see how he plays today against Celtic. I'm yet to be convinced that he's like a must sign, but I like him. I think he's a good player. But we'll wait and see. Thank you, Ninja. I appreciate it, Gus. Thank you. How long up this new chat? This is hard to keep up with, this new system. Let's see. How long is Hatate staying on the field today? It's going to be rough out there, and I don't think he has the mindset. Well, I think Rio Hatate is a very hookable player when he's not playing well. I think we all know that, and I think that if he isn't given at the same levels that you would expect of a Celtic player, we could see him hooked very early in the second half. You'd have to drop a generational type stinker to be coming off any earlier than that. I don't see him being hooked at half time. Look, at the end of the day, as critical as I've been about him, I don't want to put into the air he's going to have a bad game. I want him to play well today. Like, I might not agree with him being in the starting 11, or I might not be enjoying him at the minute, but I still want him to do well. So, God knows, I want him to play the 90. I want him to play the 90, and I want us to give us a good game. I want him to be man of the match, for goodness sake, like every player. But, if I was to put a prediction on it, I could see him coming off in the 60-minute mark. Thank you, Fire Blaster. Appreciate it, mate. Says Celtic will win the title. Easy, folks. Love the confidence. It's good. I bumped into so many viewers of the channel over the weekend. I was out on Friday with a few mates and talking to a lot of people about the title race, and I bumped into a few people yesterday when I was out on my walk, watched the channel, and it's always the same question: do you think we'll win the league? And I'm like, I don't know. And then some people will say aye, some people will say no. I don't think there's no unanimous feeling amongst the Celtic supporters right now, which I think just sums up the uncertainty of the season, to be quite honest. Jackie's happy to see Yang back. I expected that. Say nice to see Yang back. Hopefully he'll have a brilliant game. Hashtag Yang Gang. Look, listen, Yang has been a kind of up and down as usual, but he's been more of a brighter light in the dark times of recently. I still think, of course, we need vast improvement, but yeah, let's hope that he does well today, because I think that his impact has been missed to an extent these last couple of games. Actually, I'm not even going to use the phrase to an extent. It has been missed. Of course it's been missed. Because down the wings, I feel like we've been quite quiet. So, yeah, hopefully brings that kind of intensity back over to the right-hand side of the pitch today. And let's see him and Junior Adamu linking up. I would hope so. Giving us a Brian Wilson story. I didn't even realise that as I was saying it. I bumped 24 young lads the other night in the town. No, trust me, all true. Shout out to Kanzo, who might be watching, that I bumped into on radio on Friday. And thank you to Gus, by the way, for dishing out one of the channel memberships. I appreciate that, mate. You're an absolute legend, and congrats to Alex, who's managed to pick that one up. Thank you to Parkhead Boy for the donation, saying hail, hail, everyone. Hail, hail, Parkhead Boy. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you for your contributions to the channel. Let's go through a few more. I'll stay on until roughly 25 to 2, so 25 minutes to kick off. So keep your points coming in. Starting 11, of course, is on screen. Over the course of time, you'll get to see some of the features and stuff that are part of the new graphics package. We can do different transfer windows, will be a lot better looking. I can do polls and stuff like that as well, depending on what kind of streams I'm doing. Watch-alongs will look a lot better, for example. So we'll get to that over time. Thank you, Whiskey Mikey, saying, honest thoughts on Adamu besides the back heel goal. I actually don't think I've seen him kick the ball. I don't think you're wrong. I don't remember seeing him do much on Wednesday night when he came on the park. But I don't think that's through fault of Adamu. I think we've just been very stale these last... It just so happens that the two games that they've came in after the window, the two games that have been played, Dundee and, of course, the game against Livingston on Wednesday, we've been very mundane. We were very poor in both games. And I don't think that was down to the faults of Shafan Shara or Adamu. The service wasn't quite there, especially late in the game. I mean, the first half, we were brilliant against Livingston for a large portion of it. But no, look, listen, honest thoughts on him, I've not seen enough to make an esteemed opinion of him yet. But the goal was cracking. Let's hope that he gets a good game today. I wonder how they feel coming over here and having to play on the plastic parks. Like, I do wonder, like, what does that do for a player? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? God knows. Definitely more of a bad thing. I think I've answered the question for years on this channel. What time is kick-off? It's 2 o'clock for people asking. When we finally get strikers, we stop creating chances. Yeah, I mean, Johnny Kenny was getting served chances on a platter. And he's out the door. We've got strikers in and we can't create a chance for the life of us. You're quite right, Baldy Prick. Do you think there's a chance Andy Robertson could sign for Celtic in the summer? I mean, never say never, but I would highly doubt it. I mean, he was a ball head away from moving to Tottenham and probably like a $100,000 a week contract. So I think he's still got one more big money move in him, and it's not going to be at Celtic. But who knows? As I said, never say never. I want us to sign Sirachi, though, to be honest. I want us to sign Sirachi. Let's keep going. Why is Iheanacho not even making the squad? Another waste of a wage. Poor planning. It's as simple. I mean, the answer is quite simple when it comes to the state of the squad. Poor planning. Should never have been in this position where Iheanacho was a Celtic player anyway. So, it's just a simple answer for me. Poor planning. On the topic of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we've got Lee saying that he's surprised that he's not starting as he can't play on Thursday. He should be able to play the full 90 today and drop Negrin to have him fit for the full 90 on Thursday. Prediction for today is 2-1 Celtic, 2 each with Hearts and Rangers, back to second place. It's a good point, which I've not really considered. You know, we could have maybe justified starting Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and having him play in the game purely down to the fact that, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain can't play on Thursday. I'd never really considered that. I just think it's, you know, we've heard Maloney come out and say that he's trained well and his fitness is looking good, and he did look good when he came on the park on Thursday. It is maybe just that precautionary aspect of things where he's trying to make sure we don't rush him into anything too quick, especially on the plastic surface. And I think that's maybe just it. Look, I think we'll see him earlier. I think we'll see him deployed earlier this afternoon than what we did on Wednesday, depending on the way the game goes as well. But yeah, it's a good point. I didn't really consider it. Can't play on Thursday. So, aye. Do you think Mavuka is the worst signing of the window? I mean, we'll see come the end of the season, but probably aye. Him and Arthur both made very little sense. So, it could be either of the two. The dust is settled now, and I think we can all be honest about the window again, the way that we were on deadline day. The Ox song is living rent-free in my head at the minute. Have you got an all-time favourite song or chant? His hair is fine. That might be mine, by the way. That genuinely might be mine. I mean, do you know what? My favourite ever is still... It's always going to be Artur Boric, the holy goalie. It's always going to be my favourite. Like, even when you get... It broke out, I think, against Utrecht. I think the Utrecht fans started singing a chant. I think it was that game. Maybe it was another game. And, like, there was a kind of wee cluster of folks started giving the Artur Boric chant. Timeless. It'll always be up there as one of my favourites. Right, a few more minutes. I'll take some last questions before we all get away and get ready for the game today. Mavuka is another Balak Wisha, says Mackenzie. That's a damning way to speak about somebody, isn't it? You know, another Balak Wisha. Nobody should be compared to Balak Wisha. I suppose Arthur will be playing over Murray should we need to sub on another centre-back. Doesn't look like it. I mean, Murray's on the bench this afternoon and Arthur's nowhere to be seen. So, I said I had too many people on my deadline day stream going, oh, you're just moaning about everything. I'm like, these things, they didn't make sense. Mavuka and Arthur in particular made no sense. None whatsoever. And we're seeing that now because Mavuka's not on the bench and Arthur's not on the bench. I don't know why we done it. We let go of Simpson Pusey, a far more... on the paper, better player than a far better player on paper than Arthur, and we brought in a downgrade. Weirdly, you know, steak or lobster. I've only had lobster once or twice in my life. I'm not a steak fan. Do you want bucket? I'll say lobster. Tory 118 shouts are going to be given to me in a moment now. I can't believe we almost paid $3 million for Mavuka. It's absolutely scandalous. Well, listen, I did, and I hold my hands up to that. He did look good from the outside. Don't know what's happened. I hold my hands up to it. I'm not going to hide it. But we can all talk about him honestly now. Thank you for the channel loyalty, by the way, Green Ninja. It's very much appreciated. It is all of a sudden pissing of rain in the East End of Glasgow. I went on a walk today, this morning, first thing. And it was fine. And the loft window is getting battered. Absolutely battered. Thoughts on not dropping Schmeichel doesn't surprise me. I've been saying it for weeks. I don't know why people would have expected him to get dropped. It was just never going to happen. Was never going to happen. I'm getting to unsubscribe for not being a steak fan. Bernardo attitude problem maybe, as we know he has the minerals. Like I've spoke to death about Bernardo recently. Every time he's on the park this season he fails to impress me, so not surprised that he's not included. And I know that there is still this lingering love for Bernardo that exists from somewhere. I was always a big backer of him, but he's been pish. Every time he gets a game, he couldn't stand out against Auchinleck Talbot. What hope have you got? Thank you to Celtic Champions for the £2. I appreciate it, mate. Saying not a typical chant, but Bobo's going to get you. Very good one. Very good one. That would put the fear in any man. The Bobo's going to get you chance. You know. Right. Okay. On that note, let's do my predictions to finish up today. Right. It's a big afternoon. Big afternoon. And by the time I do my match reaction, it will be before the Rangers and Hearts game is played. So I'm not going to try and do a double dinter and predict both games. Today, Celtic, I think it'll be another close one. I think that Kelly will get on the score sheet as well. I'm going to go 2-1 Celtic. I think we're going to have to get used to these horrid games and scraping by, but it is a matter of just winning, and we need to keep the pressure on the two teams above us. You know, if we can make this game this afternoon for Rangers and Hearts as psychologically difficult for them as possible, then I'm all up for that. That's what I want. So yeah, 2-1 I'm going for today. Just win the game. It's as simple as that. Right, on that note, let's all go and watch the game. I'll be back this afternoon with the lineup, not the lineup reaction, that's what I'm doing right now, with the match reaction, of course. So until then, enjoy the game, everybody. Take care of yourself. let's hope for the best, shall we? I'll see you soon. Cheerio.